Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, welcome to the final installment of the Image Crossover Month series. I shot actually the Rob Liefeld Shadowhawk Zero. I don't know, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and posted it up on Patreon. But we're gonna do a fresh one on that. But if you ever want to see an alternate pass on that, check out my Patreon. And there's probably 400 some odd videos over there on all kinds of things. Lots of lessons on penciling and inking mainly, but there are quite a few book reviews and things like that I've not done on YouTube. So anyway, I thought what we would do is we would start with Youngblood #9, which is Jim Valentino's turn to take a crack at another Image Founders book. And I was excited to see that it was inked by Dan Fraga, so that'll be really fun because Dan's awesome. And when I originally opened the comic, I was like, "Oh man!" I'm like, "This is a Dan Fraga issue. Like, where's the Jim Valentino one?" And then I realized that Jim was actually in the credits. Dan's name was so much bigger. And once we finish this, then we'll go right into the Rob Liefeld Shadowhawk Zero. So this is a great cover. It's interesting. I like Jim Valentino, based on what I saw when these files opened, drawing Youngblood a little bit better than I liked him on Shadowhawk, honestly. I never followed his work, but he has a pretty good knack of doing these characters, and it really seems to work well with his style. And I don't know if it's the fact that Dan maybe was doing some finishes over his work or what it was, but it seemed to work well. And so this says Jim and Danny on the cover. I honestly have never seen Dan Fraga. It's Fraga. I've always said Fragas, but I know it's Fraga now, so I have to. But I've never seen him sign his name Danny, but I'm going to assume that he did the cover too. So, all right, let's get into the book. This shall be fun. All the files are a little dark, so you'll see me hitting my actions to lighten them. We won't hear, but anyway, yeah, I saw Dan Fraga, and I was like, whoa, what? And then I realized this. So this is the credits, and 1994, that was a long time ago in a galaxy far away. This is before I was probably collecting comics, or like on the cusp. The other thing I was going to ask too is, anyone ever get a letter or a fan art posted in a Image comic? Let me know in the comments section. I would be curious. I always look at the names and see if it's someone that I know online now, or if it's someone that eventually became a pro. But I know that they're out there because I've seen it firsthand. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to have to brighten the pages. I set an action so I can do it quick. So we've got Badrock, and he is looking cool. I've been optioned. All right. He's a fun shapes. I never drew any of these characters. I totally should goof around with it. Oh, and today I'm starting my the thing what I was saying about that. I was going to post a lot more on Instagram and stuff like that. So follow me on Instagram if you haven't. I'll have a link in the description box, and also have a link to Dan's YouTube channel, and also his Instagram, and Liefeld's too. I don't know if Jim Valentino's online. I'll look, but I'll have links to everyone. But yeah, probably starting tomorrow, I'll be posting regularly pencils on Instagram, so it'll be fun. But yeah, this is a nice piece, nice drawing. There'll be so many firsts for me. There's so many characters I've never ever sketched or drawn. So all right, like I said, I'm gonna have to do the actions on all of them. It only takes a sec. So, oh, that's cool. We got Godzilla on the TV. But do you see how, like, he seems to draw these characters better? I don't know if it's the small detail. I don't know if it's Dan's inks. But they just seem a little more confident and a little more solid. It's ironic that the book that he created didn't seem fully like his strength. Like, he kind of, Shadowhawk to me is a bit of a Batman style book, but you know, with Batman there's a lot of like things that you have to be kind of good at. I guess I'll just pop that in. This is a nice page, man. This is really cool. The panel to panel is real nice. He's got this great shape here. It's just a fun layout, you know. Troll hanging in there, little Lil Wolverine, we'll call him. He could just as easily have a juice box and a really long straw, or he could have a flaming stick of gum and a doobie or a Cheeto. I don't know. He's gonna be a star, superstar, right? Looks like some awards. Maybe it's an Eisner Award. I don't know. We got the plane. All right, they're at the airport. Again, Valentino would have been a good artist for like Mad Magazine. He seems to really excel at these little tiny drawings. And they've got quite a bit of character. I'm assuming. Oh, that's cool. He put a legend. That's the Frank Miller, Mignola, Arthur Adams, and I think John Byrne created an imprint at Dark Horse called Legend, and that's what that is. Oh, and that says John Byrne. And that's the Wyman. Okay, you know what? I can actually see a John Byrne influence on Valentino's stuff. I didn't really know where he came from. I was thinking Perez for some reason, but I could see a little bit of John Byrne in this stuff for sure. Faux show. All right. What do we got here? This is all nicely drawn, you know. It's real consistent. There's a very distinct style that he's using, and his ciphers, meaning the way that he draws his face. Like, this is really solid. Again, it could be, you know, credit to Dan. Dan's inks might have really pulled this in. They're solid. The faces look lined up. The eyes and stuff like that aren't crooked or drawn bigger than one another. This is a nice shot too. Really, really good. Perfect, in fact. And then we get the obligatory photo stat. Dun, dun, dun. And we'll bring it. The Shadowhawk doesn't need to be tweaked, so once we get to the Shadowhawk book, we'll be good to go. And I really like the Shadowhawk comic a lot. Rob Liefeld did a different style. It's very, very cool. This is nice. It's got the chain wallet. Oh, yeah. This is cool. This is a nice, you know, nice perspective shot. It's a lush, sprawling penthouse apartment with deep set couch and table. It's nice. I would like that. Jacuzzi, some fancy champagne and lotions. Always moisturized. All right, what do we got? What does he have? Oh, it must have been a hotel. I get it. I wasn't really paying attention to the story. So he's stealing all the things. That's me. My whole bathroom is. I have like all this like hotel stuff. I love it. It's like it's when you're at home. It's like you're still on vacation. Oh, because his thing got optioned. Again, I didn't read it, so it's alright. I'm more about the art. The story is like, it's something that I would want to read a bunch of them. Oh, this is cool. This is a great comic. This is fun. I actually like the idea. I like the execution of it, and it's funny. That's awesome. I could go for a sandwich like that too. That looks good. I'm totally down for sub sandwiches. This is so good. Like the bread just slightly toasted, the vinaigrette. You got your veggies and your meats and cheeses. The shredded lettuce. Oh man, I'm on now. Let's do it. All right, we don't need to lighten this page. It's fine. Okay, I'll do it anyway. I'm a perfectionist, sort of. Like he's totally drinking out of the pitcher of the soda. Oh, nice. He gets his own pinup calendar. Oh man, I am so excited and so inspired right now. I'm telling you. I think it's like as miserable as the last like few months have been. It's actually like I'm pretty pumped, honestly. I see a lot of opportunity. A lot. He does too. Him also, but his potential is more creepy. His bad rock. I like his hat. That's funny. This is cool. He's down in the pop. And Dan and Jim make a good pair. I'm assuming this is the only book that they probably ever did together. But I don't know that for a fact. But Dan usually was doing his own work. So, man, he makes them solid. So this is a photo stat. Wow, he's even got his hands in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. KFrag 9. Look, that's Dan's channel. We've got, what does that say? Cleveland? I can't read it. Oh, the extreme ladies. Look at this. Now he's getting babes. The babes are back. His shirt. They didn't color this right. It's supposed to be flesh. Come on. You had one job. And this isn't like complicated colors. It's a no-no. You can't have this simple of colors and then miss something like that. The dragon. Whoa. That's crazy. He ripped off the top. He should have filled it up with water and had a jacuzzi limo. Venice Beach, I'm guessing? Yeah. That guy's awesome. This is funny too. Yeah, Jim really excelled at this issue. This is a good style for him. I like it. You could see I'm receptive to many different things. It's like I have my own aesthetics and stuff that I'm into Phil Hale and Rembrandt and crazy stuff like that, but I can still appreciate stuff like this. Mad Magazine, whatever, you know what I mean? This is cool. And his anatomy is better on this stuff. And again, I don't know if I attribute that to Dan. The anatomy on the Shadowhawk books was very different. I think I did all the #1 issues is what it was. It shouldn't be too far back. It's within the last couple of months, but I looked at Shadowhawk #1, and yeah, there was a very distinct way that Jim drew anatomy that doesn't seem to completely be in this comic. So I do find that interesting that he would have shifted it so much, because that's like, changing your handwriting. The way that you draw that stuff is pretty identifiable. This is a nice little pose. Really, really good, actually. I think years ago, they used to have a giant Badrock statue that they would bring to comic conventions. I vaguely remember that. It was pretty cool, but it was huge. Like, this is nice. This is Shaft, right? This is cool. Nice shirt design. This is nice. I didn't realize he's sort of like a Hulk Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And he doesn't look like anybody. This comic has some charm to it. I like this. I thought this was funny. Oh my god. I knew who that is. There's Shadowhawk. That's Prophet. Pit. I think that's Gen 13 maybe. Or maybe Velocity. I think it's supposed to be Fairchild. Ripclaw. I like he's not wearing pants. That's actually really, really funny. And there's Voodoo. Wow. She's one of my favorites. Okay. Did it do it? There we go. It's funny because Dreamweaver looks like Howard Stern to me a little bit. Grifter. L. Grifter. And this is nice too. Ah, oh, Hellshot. God, man, all these characters are so cool. What? It's really funny. I'm not really a fan of Vogue, to be honest, but man, why are all these characters so cool? What is it? This is even cool. Unidentified. I guess that's Spider-Man again. Yeah, it's a very, very tight shot of Spider-Man, I think, with the oh, maybe not. That looks like webbing, but maybe it isn't. But like Hellshock, even Shadowhawk looks cool there. Wildstar's okay. Velocity. Okay. We got Spawn. Yeah, all these characters, I don't know. To me, they're cool. I like them. You know, we'll have to dissect this one day. Because it's like the Marvel characters. You know what I think it is there's a sense of fun to these books and less of an agenda. But the comics are always about, like, heroic things and villains that are nasty. And people teaming up to sort of beat, you know, the odds and stuff like that. You think so too, Kitty? I agree. So, I don't know. Maybe the stories were a little more innocent in a way. I don't know. The Bad Rock Show. What's funny is, so the very, very first time that I met Dan, which I didn't meet him a lot in the early days, but I had a friend that worked for Extreme, and I was assisting him, so I would drive from San Diego to Irvine kind of 5 days a week. I did for a while. And we would go into the Extreme offices on Fridays to turn in pages. And the first time I met Dan, he was actually inking a really, really kick-ass kind of cover or pinup that sort of was similar to that last page. It had a ton of characters on it. And he couldn't have been nicer. You know, it was cool to meet him. And in my eyes, those guys were all celebrities because I wasn't a professional yet. I was just assisting a guy. I would do panel borders and fill in blacks and ink little, like, deep, you know what I mean? Like, he would go ink the rose on every panel of the page or something like that, you know, little stuff just to help him get done with stuff quicker. Things that if you messed up, it wouldn't be super obvious. So it was fun. But I wouldn't ever consider that I technically worked for Extreme. I was working for an artist. His name was Petty, P-E-D-I. And it was cool. It was fun. He was a trippy guy. I've talked about this before. Him and his brother, his dad was a brain surgeon, literally, and was very, very wealthy. And he bought his sons a huge home in Irvine, and it had, like, no furniture. His brother was a musician, and so he had a really beautiful, like, mixing board and all this stuff in his room. And Petty had this huge loft in the top of the house that you could have easily, I mean, it was like 3 normal-sized bedrooms, and we had 3 drawing desks. There was a mattress on the floor and comic books everywhere, and we each set up a little desk area. It was me, Petty, and a guy named Lance Sells. And Lance drew, like, Jay Lee, like, real dark, sketchy stuff. He was going to do Chapel, but ended up losing the gig to someone else. But it was just so funny, and we would there was literally nothing else in the house, and we would go to Costco, and we would buy pizza there. We would buy breakfast cereal, milk, and, like, Coke, maybe even Diet Coke. I don't remember, and that was all we lived on. It was crazy. But very fun. All right, so let's get to a really, really great issue of Shadowhawk by Rob Liefeld. Don't peek for a second. Close your eyes. Keep them closed. I'll tell you when to open them. Keep them closed. Keep them closed. Don't look. Don't look. Okay. All right, now we'll get to the beginning. All right, so Rob did this in kind of like Jim. It's like a cross between Jim Lee, Deathblow, and like Jay Lee. And it looks really, really cool. And this is a fun issue. I really like this a lot. I don't think every page is great, but overall the idea that he had with this, I think, is excellent. And it's very, very cool. I don't know what inspired him with Shadowhawk to go this route, but I like it. And I know that my friend James Smith liked it too, because he's like, the cover's good, man. I'm like, I know. I think this is a cool style for Rob. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to go in order. So, Carl Allstater did the layouts, and then Rob did the art. So, layouts generally does mean that, I mean, that can affect how things look. So, credit to Carl Allstater for the layouts. You know, he could have just sort of roughed this stuff out. So, we got a really nice establishing shot. you know, this is pretty good. This, I think, is a better thing. I mean, this is his first attempt at this style. If you've ever tried to do this sort of Jim Lee, we'll call it the Jim Lee Deathblow style, it looks kind of easy, and it can be really hard too. It just depends. It's a lot of style, it's a lot of form, and it's a lot of lighting stuff with a lot of detail. And if you're not careful, it can get away from you. So Rob did really good here. I think this looks awesome. This face, just the structure is a little weird. It's a little melty, but yeah, it's worth experimenting with if you like the look. I'm gonna goof around with it a little bit too. I'd like to see what I could bring out of it, and then also what I would keep in my own style, because I like the fact that, like, look at these, like, the lines aren't connected. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, if we look at this in black and white for a second, I'll try to remove as much of the gray as possible. Won't be flawless, but you'll get a decent idea. Yeah. So, like, when we look at the black and white art, do you see how things are drawn? And even, like, I could probably remove a little bit more of the gray. Let me grab this really quick. I just want to bleach these guys out a bit. Oh, there, capitals. What's going on? Oh, okay. But if you even look at these, like, little figures, do you see how they're drawn? Where it's like he didn't really draw a head. I mean, it's there, but it's there just by these shapes and the suggestion of them. But these gestures are really, really good, so it looks strong. But you can kind of get a sense of, like, what's going on with this. And if I take the dodge tool and bleach out a little more of this. You like this style too, Kitty? Okay. You would do a book like this called Wilder Cats? But you can kind of see, and it's funny because that ends up looking a bit more like Jim Lee when you see it like that. You know, like some of when Jim inks himself. You see that? So this is what the art kind of looks like in black and white. Pretty cool, right? I like it. And this is why I was saying with my Long Gone John comic, filling in the blacks, even though I could draw the pages really, really quickly and honestly ink them really quickly, doing this kind of stuff can take a little while. So that was why they went into closer to 2 hours a page. Although some, I kept track, so there were some that were only like 90 minutes or an hour and 10 minutes and stuff like that. But this is cool. Not as much detail. He fluctuates on the level of detail and intricacies that he uses on the pieces, which I think is him sort of finding the style. So this is cool. Again, let's do it in black and white. Again, this might not be seamless, but yeah, looks pretty good. It's cool, right? I like that, man. I would totally be down with comic books or a few comics that had this look. Richie like. And as I always say, I hope everyone's doing good out there, and we got this spread now. I'm down with this whole remove the color thing now. Kind of. Man, these originals would look really, really cool. He could have even put a little bit of black splatter on this, to be honest. Isn't that cool looking? Man. Yeah, these originals would be great. I would love to see what, like, if... I wonder if Rob still has them. It's funny, huh? Long time ago. This is a great page, too. We got to do it. Yeah, I know, Kitty. We will. Promise. She's like, turn it gray. That's what she said in Cat. Alright. I'm taking the levels, and I'm just sampling gray with a white level tool. And what it does is it turns anything that's in that range white, and then I'm doing the dodge tool and just burning out the rest of the gray. It's not flawless, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It does its thing. But I'm sure there's a few people out here that have maybe never seen this, and it's an interesting Rob Liefeld comic. I still to this day wish that Jim would do, you know, maybe not Deathblow at this point. It doesn't seem like DC has really much of an interest in doing too much with any of the Wildstorm characters anymore. But The fantasy was I would love to have seen Jim do a graphic novel of Deathblow in the Deathblow style, but maybe with a little bit of his washy painted stuff, just a little, not a lot of color though, but maybe just red, like all grayscale with red, you know, red for Deathblow's mask, or you know his eyes, and you know, blood or something like that would have been pretty cool. He did a few pieces on the side. There's a graphic novel or a collected edition that he did that's about the look that I'm thinking of. It would be badass. Again, this gets a little too simple for me. I don't think that this works as well as when he did more detail on it. But this is nice, and I actually like how the bandolier is. You like that too, Kitty? Okay. Oh, she's saying that face is a little off. Okay. Sometimes they get away from us. It happens for artists. We draw a lot of drawings. Not all of them can be perfect. It's easy to be a critic. This is cool. What is it, Kitty? You just want me to know that you're... What are you doing? You're just sitting there? Okay. Doing a good job. Alright, let's see this one. Great. Curious. So I go Control L. I grab this eyedropper, which is the white one, and then I hit that. I hit a dark gray. It doesn't always work. It won't work for everything, but it is a way to sort of isolate. And then I'm taking the dodge tool and just burning out the rest of it. And if you were a colorist, I mean, you could color over something like this. These aren't very high-res files, but, you know, sometimes beggars can't be choosers, you know what I'm saying? We do the best we can. This is really cool. He's great with these crouched poses and like leaning over, and man, like these arms are great. Thighs and stuff like that. It looks real good. This is cool. Go, Rob, go. This was really interesting. I don't know if they knocked this out in color, and maybe it had been in a different way, but I mean, the colorist drew a lot right here. And do you see this? Really added a lot to it, so it's pretty cool. This is nice. Nice little panel. This is all nice. These little guys again. And again, when we look at it with the mindset of the other one, you can see how they're really suggested. So I take this eyedropper, and bam, and then the dodge tool, and I'll be able to see what just the inks look like on those guys. Very cool figures. That's awesome. That's so cool. Okay, and look at this. Coolness everywhere. And that's really simple. Let's check it. Let's checkity check it, yo. I'll grab a dark gray, move it all, and take that. Oh, it's cool. Yeah, I'm thinking that this was done with color, but these look like they were originally black. But man, it's so wild. I'll show you what I think it was. I think these were black. I don't think that little shape right there actually existed. I think the colorist threw that in with color. But I think this is all this was. He could have spotted a little more black on it. Honestly, I think some wedges of black under here could have easily worked. I'm using a different tool. I'm also using a mouse, but you know what I mean? He could have had black under this ridge a little bit, and then maybe even like the extraction point, like door or whatever, could have been white and black around it so that it pops. And then the bottom of this could have even been black with some little panels and stuff like that. Again, I'm just using the mouse, but you know what I mean? There could have been detail across this. Kind of thing. Black panels and stuff, but no. Kind of like this, you know. just the indications of stuff would look cool. This is kind of cheesy though. This could have, like, he could have gone way more splattery and more textury and stuff like that. I think that it would have really benefited this piece. It's a little, these are pretty clunky looking lines. I think getting the feeling that he's just trying to get it done at this point. But then he does this page, which is nice. So it's possible sometimes artists work out of order, but this is very nice. This is really cool. You like that one too, Kitty? Okay. And I like this a lot. And this is cool too. I like actually how he did the clothes. At times it almost has a little bit of Wolf's Portaccio feel too. And then this is really, really cool. Love this. So this was I like this a lot. I think that Rob was really, really onto something with this. And this was knocked out. This was probably originally black. So my guess is that this looked like this. And they just set it back in the mix. I just want to darken it before I take out the rest of the gray. Okay. I know, Kitty. You like Rob Liefeld. I'll dodge this out. I just want you guys to be able to see what the style looks like. I mean, it's very, like, this has a nice Sin City vibe, but it's beautiful, you know? I mean, comics is about that. It's about suggesting things and these epic worlds and stuff like this. This looks epic. This lets my imagination get excited and want to engage and, like, what is this building? You know, there's a water tower down here. We've got our superhero beat up on a rooftop. This world looks like a mystery to me. I like that. If you drew it all, then you're taking away some of my imagination. Don't take away my imagination, ever. No, I'm just kidding. You can if you want. It's all, you know, whatever you want to do. You do you. You do you, boo. All right, so that's it. Have a great day, everyone, and I will talk to you all later. And stay safe out there, and hopefully everyone's drawing. And again, I'll have a link to my Instagram where I'm going to start posting lots of pencils. Dan Fraga, I'll have 2 links for him, Rob Liefeld, and Jim Valentino if he's out there. All right, have a great day. Bye.